And welcome to another edition of Beginner Breakdown. It's not really clear what the show is. I'm still analyzing games for people, but Beginner Breakdown is in its final throes here. It's a die-in show. This is the penultimate episode. There will be one more next week, and then we'll move on to strategy sessions. So, okay, we got a couple games here. This one was submitted to me, so we'll go ahead and check it out. Let's see, the person said, "Hi Jonathan, I like this game. Probably pretty simple compared to your standards, but I thought it was a nice checkmate at the end." So we'll check it out, and it looks like he had the black pieces. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and look at here. I wonder how do I look on this screen? This is normally where Ben Simon pans slightly to the right. So here goes nothing. D4, okay, excellent. Knight F6, C4, E6, Knight C3, Bishop B4. So we know the name of this opening? Nimzo-Indian. Okay. And so the main moves are either E3 or Queen to C2. But it looks like his opponent played Knight to F3. Okay, and this can lead to the Kasparov variation with an early G3. And it looks like that did not happen because white plays E3 on his next move. All right, so in this game, black castled. So not the main move, which is C5, and just like the game that I showed. I assume D5 and B6 are probably also moves. Castling should be fine. And now, sort of a strange decision by white. White just played the move E3. Now in general, when you're deciding what to do with this bishop in the Nimzo-Indian, if black has already castled, it's usually a good idea to put this bishop here. Sometimes that's not true when they aren't castled, because then they're not afraid to play H6 and G5 and drive the bishop away. But once you've castled, playing H6 and G5 is really risky. It carries with it a lot of weaknesses, so that can make it very difficult to play your position. So in general, he should probably play here first. You bring the bishop out and then play E3. But that's not what was chosen, so this move probably shouldn't cause any problems for black here. And okay, I don't like black's decision either. Black took this. Unprovoked, exactly. So yeah, this is a move normally you might end up playing, but you should probably wait for white to play A3. So once you play A3, then it makes sense because you don't want to waste any time. But you don't want to take a pin piece just to take a pin piece. So I would probably try to exploit, what black has here is he needs to exploit his lead in development. That's his big trump. And here he hasn't even had to give up the two bishops yet to achieve it. So he's already castled. White is still 2 moves from castling. So again, either C5 or D5. I think some sort of move creating some tension in the center is called for here, because black is much more ready to open up the position. So if white doesn't play carefully here, you might get to open the game wide open and the king will still be on E1. So this I didn't particularly like. And B6. Okay, I think this is good too. You are, in this opening, you're fighting for control over E4. So white is getting ready to put a bishop on D3, and black will be able to add one more defender of E4. So white would usually like to be able to play this move at some time in the future, so B6 makes sense. And okay, another strategically dubious decision. D5. So straight away, I see that you're giving up the C5 square, which looks like a great square for my knight. Yeah, I don't think you should play D5 so soon. I think just bishop D3 and castling is a good way to go. Yeah, just positionally, this just doesn't look very appealing. And I don't like what black did. He took this. I don't know. I guess I would maybe, if you guys have like suggestions, that's fine. You can let me know. But I think D6, just, okay, seems like something I'll do. If you ever take here, I intend to take back with a pawn. just to have open the F file. That's fine for me. And okay, and if you have your bishop here, occasionally I might like fork you. But okay, but he took, which helps out white. So now this pawn still is it overextended or is it a thorn in black's position? That's what we're gonna find out. But okay. Takes. Okay, and now he did play d6. Which I think is fine. You are creating lots of light squared weaknesses over on the queen side. I don't see a direct way for black or white to exploit it. I mean, if somehow these guys disappear and this knight ends up in here, then you might have some problems. Or if his bishop is able to come in here somehow, then you might have some problems on the light squares. But this seems like a normal enough move. You intend to maneuver the knight to c5. So that should be fine. h3. So is white really, worried about the threat of a pin? Is black going to play this move? I mean, if I were black, I don't think I'd want to get rid of my light squared bishop. So if I make any move here as white, let me just like pass for a second. Like, is this fine? Like, are you really going to give up this bishop? And I can take with my queen. I suppose also I could take with my g-pawn and then try to checkmate you. I could use the g-file to my advantage. But is this really, this is probably fine for black, but you know, white has the two bishops. He does have a little bit more space. It's, the only annoying thing is that you have c5. That's sort of bad for me, but I don't know about h3. I don't think that would be the first thing on my radar because I don't really think the pin was a big threat, but okay. All right, we attack the pawn. White defends it. Okay, and here goes the knight. So this guy actually might be blocked in. I think in this position, I don't really know where this guy wants to go, because obviously the way it happened in the game, I'd probably get my knight out first, because the way it transpired here is it looks like now my bishop is kind of blocked in. But we shall see. We shall see. Maybe it's.
What was wrong with bishop f5?
In this position?
Well, just because you've already developed b6, I guess.
Okay. No. Yeah. I was thinking about this move, and okay. Because I was. I don't know. Maybe I do want to trade light squared bishops with you.
There are a lot of light squared weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to get the light squared bishop, and then when this guy moves out of the way, drop this guy in here or something. So maybe I do want to trade the bishops with you. Yes, I don't really know where this guy goes yet. So a lot of times you don't know where somebody is going to go, but you know where somebody else is going to go. This knight is somehow going to make its way to c5. So this is probably the piece that you should grab first. And okay, there's two ways. So I think either of these moves make a lot of sense because you know where that knight's going. He's going to c5. And it's not clear. This might be a good square, but I mean, okay, maybe this is, maybe it is f5, but we won't know just yet. So you do need to be as flexible as possible. So I think this move makes a little bit more sense here. But we saw this, and after c4, and I beat a d7, bishop d3. And also I was wondering where white was going to put this bishop. So when he puts it on, if you put it on e2, then your next move can just be castling. So here, black does get to play this move, and it was played in the game. And you have to leave your natural diagonal to preserve the bishop. So, okay, very interesting. Okay, and I like this plan for black. I guess what would you guys play here as black? Because I actually like this plan. And I don't know what this was like a correspondence game, so I think they had several days to make a move. It's like chess.com.
e6.
Okay, bishop a6. You want to attack my pawn?
Just getting some pressure on there.
All right, I guess I'll protect it.
Forward.
Yeah, so you can put a knight here. You can play rook to e8. Yeah, I don't think this is so bad for you at all. Yeah, your knights are kind of annoying. They're really bugging me. Yeah, so I don't think this is a bad move at all. But I do like what was played in the game. And he played the move a6 with the idea, and it looks like he did actually play it, of b5. And this is a very typical way to undermine the queen side. And in a lot of black openings, you should expect to see this when they play the Nimzo-Indian. In a lot of Nimzo lines, you can even get away with playing a move like b5 immediately. So you'll see it even sometimes early, right in the opening. Some of the first few moves, occasionally b5 is a nice, surprise weapon, but it's something Nimzo players should be aware of. And I think you can just play b5 straight away if you'd like, because if you take here, okay, I'm taking here, and if you don't castle, then I'm probably going to stop you from castling. And okay, I think this would also be quite nice. This guy is potentially weak, and also I can play like a6, and if you have to take, then I get the a file, and I'll try to target this guy. So, but it looks like he did it slightly slower, but I mean, I don't think that's by any means a worse way to do it. But here he did it. Okay, b5. Okay, so this I do like. I like how black has played this. He took. I would be looking for a way to not take.
I like bishop e2 here. It's a nice long diagonal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so white probably knows, if you're never going to play the move e4, then this is definitely the diagonal for the bishop. Unless you want to go here and take this knight. But, okay, so here, and you're just going to give me this. And then also now you got to worry about this guy. I don't know, maybe there's nothing better than taking, but feels like there should be something. Let's see, we take, and he took back. And a move that surprises me. Queen d4. Perhaps he's hoping for this, and this, and this. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't really know what the queen is doing there, but okay, maybe he's trying to play e4. Okay, looks like, okay, he's trying to play e4. So you could play rook e8 or any move. Let's see what happened here. Okay, obviously you can take this. And he took with the knight. All right. Okay, let's just think about this though, because now we have another dude here on e4, and if you ever do end up playing this move, you're not threatening checkmate. My knight's actually pretty good on f6, because you do have that wide open diagonal, so it makes sense to have a knight there that can block it. But he decided to take with his knight. So did white threaten checkmate in one? That's the big question. 4 knight takes. Should be 2. All right, very good. Yeah, maybe he won't see it. Maybe he won't see it. And I guess my first instinct is to put my knight back on f6. And had I done it with a bishop, then I wouldn't have to waste all this time with my knight. But he found a different move. He played queen f6, which I suppose forces you to trade the queens. So okay, he wants to trade. Yeah, so white here can clearly double him. So this happened. Okay, so this move happened in here. And he did not play bishop takes f6. So it's interesting. I mean, black is up a pawn, and that is a really nice bishop.
Yeah,
so, but let's just go ahead and have some fun. I'm thinking about taking this and then being really confused after this move. My plan is to be really confused, because maybe white will take here. And then I'm going to take here. I'm just going to keep taking stuff. Just keep taking, and then white gets to take the last thing and go, haha. And then probably have to take here, and something takes bishop. And you got your pawn back. And wow, 4 isolated pawns. This is confusing. And then, yeah, as long as you don't do this, then maybe you'll be fine. But obviously, you don't even have to go in for all that stuff. After here, you could take back with your pawn. But a lot of confusion would have ensued, which is probably to white's best interest. He should probably make the position a little bit messy here, because otherwise black, he's going to end up with strong control over e4. He's got the extra pawn. Eventually, these pawns on the queen side are going to matter. So I think, yeah, white should maybe think about taking that knight, making it as messy as possible. At least if you get, you know, a weakness, at least if you have this on the board, there's some weaknesses, so you have something to play for. You got some control over some of the light squares here. You can put a knight there. That'd be a good knight. But he decided to play knight d4. Okay, you attacked a pawn. And I think you could just play b4. That seems fine, but I do like this move. If this works tactically, then I quite like it. Bishop to e4. Okay, so he took. And he took with this knight. I feel like maybe I should take with the other knight, because sometimes, okay, what white's planning, let's see what happened in the game, we'll come right back to it. So his plan is to try to take this guy. And then I wanted to take advantage of the fact that you lined up two pieces on this file. So I want to play one of my rooks here. And then I want to like trap your pieces. I guess this is the best. But also, with my knight on f6, whichever way you decide to do this, you can always throw this move in. So I kind of want my knight to not be there. So I think you should maybe take with this knight. So now if you take here, I think this should win a piece. a4, I play knight takes a4. And if you take here, I can play this, and I'm attacking two pieces. So I think this would have been a little bit better. Okay, instead, he took this way, and white did take the pawn. Okay. Okay to b8. Okay, so now he can take on f6, which was played. And I guess this was black's intention. In this position, he took the knight. All right, and this is actually interesting because maybe you don't have a really good square for this bishop. I mean, looking at it, you can't go here. If here, I can kick you away. Can't go here, can't go here, can't go here. You got only one square. And so actually, yeah, so maybe this is a bit strange. And then you could play g5. It'll be like g5, f6, f3, and I'll be like confused. I won't know what's going on. So maybe that's possible. But also maybe you can even go this way and try to create some weaknesses. I don't think this is by any means forced, but okay, this guy might be an easy target. Hopefully this guy's an easy target. Also, you might just leave the bishop out there. Let's see if we can just keep a little marooned bishop over here. And we could also consider just, you know, beginning to put pressure on the weakness here. So, okay, but let's see what he actually did. So let's see. He played the move c5. Now you want to be able to push your pawns. When you have passed pawns, you want to push them. You just have to make sure you have enough support. So will this pawn just go like this? Or will some of these guys end up being weak? Because I think what happens a lot of times, especially in rook endgames, one of the best ways to find a good plan is to look for the weaknesses. So white should be looking to attack this guy, and black should probably be looking to attack this guy. Because it's very easy to see that I can attack this twice and just win that pawn. So that also seemed like a very possible strategy. And I even have this knight to shield my pawn if there's a rook that goes there. And I can make you think about giving me an exchange. So even if, I start loading up here, it's, I can put my rook here if I want to really slow you down. And okay, I'll think about pushing my pawns in a minute here. I also might have some tactics. I don't know. But yeah, I think that normally in these rook end games, you want to find the weaknesses and just attack them with your rooks. And it's black's turn, so maybe he could get there faster than his opponent. But okay. C5 was played, so we'll see. Maybe this is fine as well. Rook D1. Okay, so very good by white. He's going after the weakness. And black just kept going. So white decides I'll remove the defender. All right, I think that's a very good move. Now you got to move away, and then I get to take your pawn. Knight to C3. And he took the pawn. So I think this is starting to slip away for black here. Although, okay, he might be able to get a rook to the second rank really fast. He played this move. After king f1, you don't have a whole lot of squares. I mean, you probably didn't do this to go back. So in he went. Rook c6. He's very good, right? He's doing a great job attacking the weaknesses. c3. Which is also funny because that was the only square your knight could go to. So your knight might end up getting trapped unless your opponent plays the move that was played. So I don't know. Maybe the
one just wins the knight, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to make sure that I can't just push my pawn. But it looks like now you've trapped your knight. So what happens here? In the game, okay, this move was played, and now you can escape. I understand you have the majority over there, so you do want to push those pawns. But with a knight so far in your territory, you want to see if you can trap them. And that just looks like a good move. A poor time to do this. You wanted to save your pawn, but it just doesn't work tactically. But okay. He kind of helped you out. Now black is back in the game. So I think you should just push this. Instead, h6. I don't know. I mean, are you just going to play g5 and the bishop will go to a better diagonal? This guy's not very well placed. I don't know. He wants to come into the game somewhere else. I don't really know the point. It's not like you have an immediate back rank issue. Maybe you should just push here. Because, okay, so obviously if you take this, I queen with check. So I don't know what it would do here. But it feels like you should do that, and then your knight can escape. It's untouchable for now, so hopefully it can escape, and you can bring your other rook in. But instead, we saw h6. Bishop f2. All right, so he's got control over d4 again. And black played rook to d8. Okay, that's good. So now my knight's not getting trapped. Bishop e3. And black went for rook d3. Bishop c1. And okay, this looks like where he said he had a good checkmate. So it looks like this is where it begins. So yeah, okay, I agree. So white is getting checkmated here. We'll see. We'll see if people can figure it out. It feels so. Blocking this is a big mistake.
Well, rook e1 obviously is check. That's pretty good.
Rook e1 obviously is check. I agree with that statement. Okay.
Then discover check. Yeah, you win the rook
But
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
G3's clear
Yeah.
that.
Right, and then I can run away. I don't know where.
Yeah.
And then you can
Grab the rook and
you can take the rook. So this also looks winning unless I can take this.
yeah, but then you take the bishop pawn.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Could you start with knight g3 for the check?
All right, so we're in this position.
Instead of the rook
Let's
pawn.
see.
Yeah, and then
nothing at all. Well, okay, I guess you could maybe.
Knight G3.
Time to with H1, but probably-
Okay, this move was played.
Oh, yeah.
King G1,
Then rook to E1,
Rook E1,
He comes out.
knight F1.
Knight F1. You win here. Oh, sorry, I made a, okay. I think
Better than that.
he actually went to H1, but I don't think it makes a difference.
And then knight to.
And then draw.
Knight E3,
Knight E3, excellent.
and then bring capture to the pawn.
Yeah, so that really was a, a fantastic checkmate there. That was very nice. Yeah, so if we go back to this move, this just blundered mate, and you know it is a tricky mate to find because you might be thinking, okay, I'll give this check, something like that, but a very nice find by the player with the black pieces here. Knight to G3, and one more time. You slow it down, Ben Simon, slow motion. Very nice checkmate, and that's the end of the game. Okay, yeah. So I think, you know, sort of in the opening, both players played strategically suspicious moves. But in the middle game, I think Black showed a good understanding when he went for the B5 break. He played A6 and B5 and sort of broke down the queen side. And ultimately, he won a pawn. And then I think you misplayed a little bit, and then White blundered and you checkmated him. So that was a really nice game. That was actually quite an entertaining one. I really liked looking at it. And we'll have a look at one more game. And Greg, who last week we went over one of his games, he sent in another game. So the last game he played, we got the Sicilian. It was a classical Sicilian. And Greg is white again. And so this is interesting too. So the first game he played E4, and now in this game he's playing D4. Excuse me. And I think that's a really good sign. I like when people are willing to play E4 and D4. I think it's really important to improve your chess. You sort of play a really wide range of openings. I know some people sometimes get afraid. They're like, oh, I know E4 so well, I barely know D4, and then they never play it. But you can actually borrow from other openings to really improve your understanding of chess as a whole. You do kind of need to branch out and try all sorts of different things. So already, this is a good sign. Okay. G6. So will this be a King's Indian? Will it be a Grunfeld? All right, so possibly a King's Indian. And very interesting, so E4 is the main move here. And he decides to play the fianchetto variation. And I had played this for a while as well because I lost to a very strong player. And mostly that's how my repertoire works. A really strong player beats me with some opening, and then it looks like the opening is like invincible. And then I play it, and then, you know, usually I do well. So when you're the higher rated player in some situation, you might be influencing the opening choice of your opponent for a long time. Because they see you play something, it worked so well, and then they just keep playing it. So that can happen. And C6, okay, so Black is probably thinking about playing D5. Bishop, G2. And Knight to A6. Knight to A6. Perhaps he's going to go to C7 and then play D5. I think, yeah, if you just play D5, you get sort of a Grunfeld position where you've avoided any early exchanges on D5. So you can always support your center with a pawn. Knight A6 I'm unfamiliar with. But, okay, I don't really like White's choice here. I think you should just play like E4. This looks pretty good. And you might even be threatening E5 here. So Black would have to do something about this. He played the move A3, which, I don't know, is he trying to prevent his opponent from going to B4? That's probably not a threat you need to worry about. Because after he plays knight to B4, you can always play A3, kick him back. We'll see. A little rook to B8. So a little bit unorthodox. So not like castling, not d5, d6, or some sort of normal move. Perhaps he's thinking he's going to play b5. I guess he's going to play b5. Which this is something that you sometimes do, but normally this doesn't happen so early. But you did get off this diagonal. That's one good thing we can say. And b4. Okay, you get more space on the queen side. Yeah, I again don't really understand why e4 wasn't played. I think you should just play in the center because it looks pretty good, and then you develop your knight and castle. And eventually in the future, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna go like this, and this, and this. So b4, and I think white is much better, so it's not like I'd complain about this too much. So I think I would play e4. But he went here, which is not my first instinct. Because, well, the move that was played in the game, but also, I mean, if they're going to kick you around, are you really intending to take that knight? In the game, black played the funnier way to attack the bishop, which is... What's the funnier way to attack the bishop?
Oh, just
H6.
H6 is the obvious way. But he's playing against a crazy person. So knight to e6. Yeah, right. Yeah, not even on the radar. All right, so some interesting knight maneuvers. This is not a maneuver you see in the textbooks. And he took here. Now, if it were me, I assume the computer wants you to take this. I don't know. But I assume if it were me, I would just go back. I was joking. You can have your knight on e6. Like, I don't care. you can have it. I think when people play real goofy like this, you can expect them to continue to do goofy stuff. And so I'd probably just go back and, I'll let you have your knight on e6. That's your problem. But he took here, so black now has the two bishops. He's gonna, assuming he took it, we don't know that, yeah. He might not have taken it. Would you take with the pawn? He took with the bishop. I mean, you perhaps could take with the pawn. And you'll eventually play f5, so your bishop has some scope. And yeah, if you did this and you played f5, ooh, I made it yellow somehow. Then, you'd have some targets here. And now the knight isn't on in front of a pawn. So actually taking with the pawn is an interesting idea. He took with the bishop, so maintaining the pawn structure. E3. Okay, the pawn is attacked. E3. And next I just want to develop my knight and castle, and then I'll start my attack. Now who can guess what black played? All right. This guy hasn't moved enough yet. So what would be the last square I'd move this knight to? I don't know. Okay. The knight went over to g5. So here's the maneuver. That's how you maneuver your knights around in chess. I don't normally see a knight on g5. That's not a square. I don't think of that square as a square for a knight. Unless it's a white knight, because then sometimes that makes sense. You don't see a black knight here on this square very often. And it looks like he was kind of helping him out. He put his knight on f3. Now, if my opponent did this maneuver with his knight, I don't want to trade for his knight because he doesn't know how to use his knights. So I think when he puts his knight here, I mean, maybe you can just go here. This seems also fine, and you castle. But by going here, you're allowing black to trade, which didn't happen. But he doesn't know how to use that knight. So I think trading it off is a mistake, giving him the option, and then you would have to figure out how to take back. And then he sort of solved the problem of his oddly placed knight. You also might think of a move like h4 or something, just to kick him away. But he went here, and the knight did not move. Black played h6. So what happens if I take his knight? Actually, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And,
Oh, really?
well, you wanna take this way?
Well, I guess, I mean, you get the idea of opening the H file, but yeah, well, if you get the pretty pawn so
Yeah,
far.
okay, so far. But are your pawns gonna be so pretty after this move?
No.
You know, so yeah, you could do this, and if I won, I'll take this. I don't know. I mean, it's probably not so bad. The game isn't as one-sided as maybe it could be. But also, if you like to play Tetris, you could go in for this variation. Because, you know, so if chess isn't your game and you prefer Tetris, this might be the formation for you. So yeah, that would have been interesting. So I think white could have probably taken the knight, or if it were me, I'm like, I'm not trading with you. But did he take? White castled. Okay, also reasonable. And the bishop retreated. So it is, I mean, I do kind of also want, I kind of want to take it, but I also kind of want to move and play h4 just to kick it back. But taking it should be fine, even though black does get the h file. I don't see any immediate way for that to be exploited. And white played a very interesting move here, f4. Again, I'm wondering what happens on knight e4, because are you really going to play a move like f6? You might, maybe that's not so bad. But it does make kind of a funny impression. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is a pawn that I can target. I can go here, sometimes I can go here. So this would be interesting. In the game he went f4. And what crazy thing did black do? Oh good, he did something unexpected.
Took the pawn.
He would see that coming. So your opponent would see that one coming. You'd have to be sane and like want to get rid of your doubled pawns. That's what a normal person would do. But we're dealing with a crazy person here.
Did he push the pawn?
He pushed a pawn. I don't know if that's the one you were thinking of. Were you were thinking of g4?
No, totally.
Oh yeah, e6. And all right, yeah, I don't think black likes white's next move. So this, what did white play here? This looks like is a pretty good move. Remember, white's the normal one. But I like the move that he played. So instead of putting a pawn on e4, when you don't put your pawns on e4, you can put your pieces on e4. So that happens in a lot of openings. Whenever you have your pawns on e3 and d4, it's very common that a piece is the one that's going to land on the e4 square. So this happens a lot in d4 openings, much less so in e4 openings because you put a pawn on e4. But in d4 openings, it's pretty common to use the e4 square for your pieces rather than your pawn. And now we got two threats here. So do you want to get checked, or do you want me to take your pawn? Let's see what he went in for. He went for d5. This move was played. Okay, which might be the right decision. Let's do something a little bit different, just to see what the alternative was. Okay, maybe I don't want to lose my pawn. So in we come, and f8 is the safest, but this is the craziest. Okay, even a move like c5 is fine.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's
Block
good.
knight right there.
I don't know, maybe there's some way I can sack my knight and let you take it. But okay, I mean even a move like this looks very good. And okay, this is the same. Even just a move like this is fine. I mean, I take this pawn. I'm threatening here. So actually, can I go? Well, let's play this variation. I want to see if I can go here. And if you go here, I go here.
And if you get these force keys, then or you play e5.
Yeah, I mean, so if you go back, I mean, I just assume I have enough compensation here.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way. So I mean, there probably is some sort of like crazy stuff, but even just supporting the pawn seems sufficient to give white a big advantage here. So it makes sense. I mean, you don't want that knight dropping in on d6. So his move was d5, and he took the pawn. Okay. I mean, it's hard to play black here. But this is beginner breakdown. So he played the move that we know not to play, because it's beginner breakdown. Played f6, which is not allowed in this class. So there's that. And okay, here, and I should read what he wrote. He said, second game, I was in a bit of time trouble after calculating intensively my sack. So here he sacrifices. So it's interesting. So the move he played was he took on d5. I'm wondering also about this sacrifice, with the point that I'm taking this. This also looks very good. If you run to the F file, I mean, I'm taking this, and I don't know, my rook's coming in. I mean, okay, so the alternative is here. And I mean, taking this might just be enough.
You just grab the bishop.
You grab the bishop. Yeah. Okay. So let's try to be greedy, and then like mate this guy. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, maybe this move. Actually, maybe the computer's smarter than me. Maybe this move, because I can play here or here.
Leave the pawn up and now check. Forces the king back down. Yeah. The rook up. Yeah.
Oh,
Just
the
moves,
computer wants you to do your queen,
or something in that.
which means it's not right.
Yeah. I know what he's gonna do now.
What do you mean? When you go there, I'm gonna take you.
Yeah, well, fine.
Yeah, fine. Yeah. So it looks like there's a lot of things. I mean, this also looks interesting as well. I'm just gonna play here, checkmate. And so maybe you have to play queen takes rook, so that's also game over. Yeah, I don't think he's in good shape. And so here instead he took with the pawn, and so I guess the point is he's gonna take on c6. So let's see if we saw him go ahead and grab this guy. Okay, so far it's 2 pawns for the piece, and you are opening up the game, which is very good for white, because black is having some difficulty developing his pieces. And here I really don't like this move that black played. I don't think he should be the one opening up the position. So this is also just a trade, but you're opening, the F file. So now rook takes was played. It's not, you trade either way. Material is the same whether black trades or white trades. But at least if white trades, then you take with your queen and you're threatening e3, and at least you're getting some of your pieces out. But opening it up looks a bit suspicious. The rook took, and queen c7. And now he did go after the g6 pawn. And he went to d3. And so I'm wondering why he didn't go to c2. I suppose one of the differences is that now you can be able to play this move so now you're pinned. But also I'm also trying to prevent you from taking here, because now I think this would be quite good for me. Because I mean, even here, I mean, I can take this guy. Some bad stuff is happening. But he went to d3, which also should be a good move. Rook h6. All right, he protected his thing. I mean, this is just bad. Okay, white's playing very well here. So yeah, I think this sacrifice is probably sound. I mean, I'd really prefer to be white here. I don't think I want the the extra 1 point of material in this position. So now he took. Okay, so if my queen was on c2, I'd be able to play bishop takes c6. But okay, he attacked that pawn again. That's a good idea. So he's doing a good idea. He identified a weakness, and he's targeting it. So very good. g5. All right. And yeah, this move that was played looks like bad news. That doesn't make me feel good. What would you play here? This is actually interesting. What would you play here?
Rook f7, just looks, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
why not?
So this wasn't played, but I think this makes a lot of sense.
Wins the bishop.
And yeah, it just wins the bishop. But material, I mean, you're only up a pawn as white, but you have a lot of threats. You're going to go like here and here. I mean, you have a lot of threats. Your pieces are really active. So I do like this continuation, but it wasn't played. Maybe his way is also fine.
He just acted
You can also go all the way down, yeah.
So this is what was played. And then I'm going to put my guy here, but you never know. You never know.
Then the queen can go back up after.
Mm-hmm, that does look like that's his intention here. That was so. Okay. And so he's going to pick up the queen. I don't see anything more brilliant than taking the queen. So that all happened. So now it's two rooks versus a queen. I don't know. This is. It just kind of feels like white had so much more. Now you've liquidated all of your attacking pieces. So yeah, I think going back, I really like this move a lot more because you don't really want to be trading lots of material. I mean you're winning a little bit of material, but keeping your active pieces is a lot more important here because black is under tremendous pressure. So I think in the game variation, you've really sort of lost the pressure in the position. Let's see here. Queen c2. All right, he's going to play bishop e4, and he's going to attack the pawn. Bishop d7. And yeah, now he can double on the h-file. Bishop e4 was played, and black doubles on the h-file. I mean, this is not such a simple task for white. It felt like, he was just crushing him, you were attacking him, and doesn't really feel that way anymore. I do like his move, though. I suppose there's probably a lot of good moves here. I'm wondering what you guys would come up with. But I do like his move.
I'm just thinking, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, queen c5, it looks like a good square for the queen.
Yeah,
You know.
That's probably best attack against it.
Or even b5, I think, for pawn.
Yeah, that was my. Yeah, but he's.
There's so many checks.
B5 first.
Yeah.
Queen b5 first.
No, but this is probably
Mhm.
the best.
All right, let's see what did his opponent come up with here. He took here.
Look, he's got the bishop there, otherwise you can.
Right. Yeah. This bishop is well placed in this position. So that's going to be the one problem for black here. I don't know how black continues to make inroads to the king here. So your king is actually quite safe. Somehow you have to play this move, and then like just trade them some sort of atomic chess, and like they explode, and then maybe you can mate them. But even then, the king still probably runs away. You like queen a7 check? Let's see, rook takes. All right, me too. And so did Greg. So I like this move actually. You're keeping the pieces on the board. The king went back this way, and I really like white's move here. This is the move of the game right here. This and the sacrifice to begin with. So here, a really nice move by white. Let's see what you guys would come up with in this position, because I think once you see this move, it's sort of a lot of trouble for black here. I mean, there's probably a lot of good moves.
B5 now?
Yeah, b5. So that was played, and this looks really good. He did end up taking it, and okay, he continued to play well. What would you guys play here?
Queen
A8. queen b6.
Yeah, queen b6 was played, and it looks like you're threatening mate, and it looks like his opponent didn't do very much about it. So he went here. Not that there's much you can do about it, but okay, he went here, and now there's a typical mating pattern, and so that all happened. Does everyone see the mate here? Do you see it? Guy walking in the room? No, shaking his head. He's got no idea.
It has a perpetual.
Right, we got a perpetual, right? Yeah, we're gonna go here, and then we'll even go there, and then we'll draw. Yay! Okay. This move did happen, and hopefully everybody at home can see the checkmate. It's a very common pattern here. Bishop to c6.
Quicker than that.
There's quicker than that?
Bishop a6 is quicker.
Ooh, little bishop a6.
The guy was greedy, wanted the bishop too.
Right, yeah, I wanted it all. Okay, so this would have happened, and it looks like this did happen in the game, and it was here that Black resigned. So okay, yeah, so the same thing.
Yay.
Yay! So yeah, that was great. That was an excellent game. Your opponent played really goofy in the beginning. He played all sorts of strange moves, especially with the Queen's Knight. It went on a long tour all around the board, and you had sort of a really big advantage. I do think you made a mistake in the middle game trading off all the pieces, because that made it a little bit tougher, but okay, you were still a lot better in that ending, and you proved it, and you were able to win the game. So thanks to the two people that sent in the games. Next week will be the last beginner breakdown ever. No. So I know. So I'll be seeing you guys next week, so you can keep sending in your games, and thank you very much.